Hello and welcome to another episode of Pardon My Vlog! This time from the far-flung future of yesterday. Because today I'm talking to you about time, as per the instructions left to me in an exploding briefcase left on YouTube by my good friend Daniel. As you can probably tell, I've recorded this a couple of times before, so I'm feeling a bit silly. I'm here to talk to you about time travel, and time in general. And how, as a literary type person majig, I feel about this. Now, it's no secret that I think the vast majority of time travel stories are steaming piles of bullshit. Why is this? Quite simple. Most times you come across a time travel story in, say, Star Trek, Stargate, Battlestar Galactica. Is there actually a time travel story in that one? I forget. Any, sci-fi show. It's a B episode. It's, well, we need something to do today, so let's go back in time. Traveling back in time. Hey. I don't know. And there's never time enough for love. Dr. Jones. So yeah. Time travel. Kind of a silly thing. When, really, one of the best time travel movies is a Keanu Reeves movie. You know the one I'm talking about. So, why is it that I think time travel is kind of steaming past bullshit? Well, that's simply because it's never dealt with as a device. It's just a thing to get from A to B. It is a car. A time car, if you will. Some manner of time car with folding up doors. Why is it there is no stories, at least that I've seen, in popular Western science fiction, dealing with how time travel would affect a society if it was available? Because I don't know of any story where time travel really is used in that way. The closest example I can think of that dealt with a societal level, a society with that kind of issue, is Minority Report. It being a crap movie, but still, the idea of future crime. So, and I know there are societies presented with time travel, Gallifreyans from Doctor Who, but they never deal with how that affected their society. It's just, we have the TARDIS, and, we go back in time, and now we're dead. And now the Doctor's all alone, and he's sad. And that's pretty much the extent of it. So, I think that's missing a hell of a trick, because why aren't we looking at how that would affect a society if you have wholesale time travel? Surely that would affect things. You'd constantly be second-guessing yourself. Is this the right decision? Well, I'd come back in time and tell me so. If you could communicate with yourself in the past and give yourself advice, there's always that thing of, what would you do? And you could go back in time and talk to your 9-year-old self. I'd punch the little fucker in the face for a start, but still. So why is that never dealt with? The fact that we always would have perfect hindsight. We would always be able to correct our mistakes. That would be a very interesting society to look at. A society perpetually gripped by indecision, because the future would always tell them how it is, at least in theory. Now, there's another sort of time travel outside of the mechanical and other generic devices that I think is very interesting. That's relativistic time travel. Now, the idea is, quite simply, you just go forward in time. You just don't perceive the intervening period, if that makes sense. So that's, cryo, sleep, faster than light travel in some instances. I think this is the most interesting form. I mean, you get the fish out of water thing, which is what every time travel story is essentially about. I'm a fish out of water examining this society. But you've got the fact that you can't go back, presuming in a linear universe, and you have to live with that fact that everything you've known is dead. I mean, Futurama is an excellent example of this. And they were surprisingly good, despite being a show based around time travel, of doing relatively few time travel episodes. I think there's a total of 4 or 5 in the entire series. A couple of which are very good. I'm quite fond of the season 3 ones. Roswell ends well, and Time Keeps Slipping. Time Keeps Slipping is an excellent episode. Just the concept of losing time like that, I love. Another good example of that kind of time travel is Red Dwarf. Your thoroughly handsome and charismatic everyman, Dave Lister, is flung into the far future when humanity's extinct. He's the last man, and he's kept sane by a man he hates. It's brilliant. There's sort of always an underlying sort of, oh, this is really depressing to Red Dwarf, though really that just gets the show itself around about season 10. So yeah, I think that's a very interesting film of time travel. Though for the mechanical form, probably my favourite time travel story overall is The City on the Edge of Forever in the original Star Trek. That is a wonderful episode. I don't want to analyse it too deeply here because I may do an episode on it in one of my other shows. It's an excellently built story and very interesting. Now, the main question I asked was, how would I write a time travel story? Now, I've given hints of it thus far. What I would do is I would deal with a person who... It'd be kind of like a Twilight Zone episode, if you will. But a person who's slipping through time. Slipping forward in time. So they're losing time. Now, this is important because one of the factors that I think doesn't get looked at enough in time travel stories is perception of time. But I'll get onto that after I've described the story. Now, time keeps slipping for him. He loses days, weeks, months, years. And he sees the world around him grow, age, and decay. So, let's say he's stuck in one spot on the street. He can, turn around. And there's this... Actually, let's set the scene. So a man, let's say it's a 1950s American suburb. Man in his pipe, sweater vest, going out to get the morning paper. He touches his mailbox to get the paper out, or whatever. And he can't move his hand. And then he notices that the mail flag is up again. But he just took the paper out. He's lost time. He can move around the mailbox, and no one sees him. People walk straight through it. But his hand is always glued to the mailbox. And he watches, slowly, flag going up and down, up and down. People are zooming past. He sees flyers go up on near power poles. With his face on it. A missing poster. Been gone a week, a month. And then he sees a different car on the driveway. His wife's remarried. His daughter's grown up. It's her birthday already. This keeps happening and happening and happening. So the years slip by. He watches, and as his family ages, moves on without him, forgets him. And his world around him aging. So let's say the neighbourhood suddenly gets very shady. Crack dens appear. His once pristine 1950s community is now a 1980s slum. Then, other strange things. Then he sees propaganda posters. And all manner of strange things. Wars brewing. It keeps going. Getting more intense. Till there are troops on the streets, riots. All manner of things. Then, boom, the bomb. Everything's wiped out. His community, his city, his country's gone. Everything is gone. Humanity is gone. And here he is, still stuck to his mailbox. Is that morning mail? Stuck. Time slipping away. As all that remains of humanity crumbles down, rots, decays, as the earth reclaims it for its own. And he never even got to read his mail. That's just a silly idea of mine. So, perception of time travel, perception of time, I think is an important aspect of time travel that's never looked into well enough. Because time as a perceptive medium, if you will, is very interesting. Because we've all experienced lost time in some way, be it when you're drunk or otherwise inebriated. And then there's other sort of psychological disorders that can cause perception of time to be stretched and warped or lost entirely. That's a thing that exists. People who cannot tell the passage of time. A number of movies about this. And then there's also sort of gravitational factors, speed factors. I watched a documentary that included the theory that the closer you get to the centre of the galaxy, due to the higher gravitational intensity or whatever, time will pass faster there than it does on the outer arms of the galaxy. I think that's fascinating. Right, now on to my topic. I want to talk about agency in video games, particularly RPGs, because that's what I play a lot, particularly Bethesda ones. I'm really addicted to them. I've been thinking about this. Your character, in the form of both player and character, because those are combined in video games in a very interesting way, has little to no agency in their world. There's little choice in their actions. You are always given a quest, but you don't choose how the quest goes out other than preset options, if you will. There's very little in the way of organic game design. You're never given an end goal, but you can go deal with it in any number of ways. Very rarely. It's always a preset number of ways, if you understand me. And you can never give on the quest to someone else, which is always something odd. So I feel that characters in video games often lack agency. I know this is very true in shooters and such, where NPCs will complete objectives for you. A character's agency is the effect they have on the overall plot, and the effect they have in the overall world, and control they have over their own decisions. Now, you may argue that, of course, you have complete control over your decisions in a video game. It's just within the limitations of the medium. But I would argue that you have forms of gameplay where you do have total agency, but they're not as prevalent yet. So you have things like Minecraft. Now, Minecraft has an end game, and it has a number of things you can do on the way there. But the story and your choices up to that point are entirely your own. And I think that's a richer storytelling experience, and I know that I've poured more hours into Minecraft than I have really any other game, which is weird because I love story-focused games, but there's no story in Minecraft. You make your own story. We all have our own Minecraft headcanon, and I think that you have more agency in Minecraft than you ever do in any RPG. So my question to you, Daniel, is how do we give characters in video games agency? How do we give them control over their world and make them truly heroes, which they aren't when they lack agency? They are just someone else's puppet. Is there a way we can make that kind of gameplay in a more linear story? I mean, I have one example I'll give you here, and I'd like your thoughts on it. Let's say in the traditional game, you have, let's say in Skyrim, you're told to go kill a dragon. So you have the rigid NPC standing there. Hello, I am NPC number 4,802. I would like you to go kill that dragon for me, and then I will give you a measly amount of gold and some amount of randomly generated enchanted item. Thank you, goodbye. And that NPC stands directly in place, never does anything, will never say anything else to you of importance ever again. You go off, you kill the dragon, whoop-de-doo, you come back, he gives you gold, no reason to talk to that person ever again. So that's your typical response. I think you'd agree with that. A bit hyperbolic, but, But let's say we have this instance. You're in a village, and, you're interacting with the NPCs. You're not doing quests, you're just talking to them. And they build up the world, who your character is, maybe, or whatever. You're just talking to them. Or you're just dicking about. But, you start in bed. You have a home. Maybe a family. Who you can all talk to, or who will all say different things. And then, black spot on the horizon. And a dragon comes. And he fucks your shit up. He burns your village to the ground. Now, let's say you've spent a good half an hour in this village. Just dirtling around, getting to know people, getting to know the place. It's a generally nice, happy environment. You're not being told to do anything. You can... Maybe there's a bit of tutorializing. Who knows? I think tutorial in Dream Sequence would be cooler than myself then. But anyway. Then this dragon comes, fucks your shit up. If that's written right, you as a player will go, I'm going to go kill that dragon in revenge because he's pissed me off. You have agency in that scenario. You will track that motherfucker down. You know, and then it's sort of, you follow the burning wreckage of other villages and towns. Perhaps you meet other people, sort of refugees. Then you have bandits preying on those refugees, robbing them. Now, you don't have to do anything. There's not even a quest option for you to go kill the bandits. I think quest options are very limiting. And then perhaps there's a knight, say, going to kill the dragon. Maybe you go along with him. Maybe not. He'll talk to you. Maybe you'll share food with him. But you will hunt down that dragon because he pissed you off. It's the stealing the boots scenario from Spoonie, basically, but on a grander scale. And I think that's a better way of doing quests in video games than this. Hello, I am NPC number. Blah 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 blah. Here is your quest. Go fuck off. Because I think that's more organic. Anyway, I want your thoughts, Dan, because my thoughts have run out. Right, that's this episode over. Thank you for watching. If you have anything to say, let me know. Both you, Daniel, and other people. Let's get this whole comment section figured out. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. See you next Friday. Thank you and good night.